Hi, this series of videos, Designing and Building Software, is intended to help you learn how to start almost from scratch and be able to write software in a meaningful and valuable way. In these demos and in this study, we're going to talk about Visual Studio as the integrated development environment, the IDE. We're going to use Windows Forms, which is kind of an old version of GUI I/O, graphical user interface I/O, but it's really easy to use and it doesn't get in the way of you learning the other things that you might want to learn. There are many other ways to do it, and you're welcome to try those as well. But I'll be focusing on Windows Forms for I/O. And also I'm going to use the C# language from Microsoft as the development language. So these three products all are Microsoft products: Visual Studio, Windows Forms, C#, and they will help you to express yourself in terms of how you want an application to run. Here's what you need to succeed. First of all, you need to really want to learn this stuff. Second of all, you need to have a willingness to deal with ideas that you may never have seen before. And that's kind of tough sometimes, but you need to be able to do that. And third, you need to deal with things that you really think you know in ways that you may never have thought of using them. So it sometimes even feels kind of like using a screwdriver as a hammer or vice versa. But when you allow it to come into your brain and roll around in there a little bit, sometimes you'll see things that you just never thought could be. And finally, the physical thing that you're going to need is a computer running Microsoft Windows. We're going to use Microsoft Visual Studio here. There's an edition called Community Edition. It's fine for everything we're going to do. In fact, it's also free, which makes it easier for people who are just being introduced into the Microsoft world to try it out and see how they like it. So how are you going to succeed at this? Same way you succeed at everything else. You're persistent. And when we're persistent, that means that we're going to continue to try, even if it feels like we're not making any progress. And you're going to realize, hopefully, that there is progress to be made, and maybe you just haven't figured out how to do that yet. So with that in mind, I want to suggest that you be persistent almost to a fault. Second, you have to work hard. Just because you keep trying doesn't mean that you're working hard. You have to also work hard and smart. And you've got to be willing to do some really difficult things, or some really boring things, or some really invisible things almost, to make this work. So if you're persistent, you're not going to give up. You work hard, meaning that you work hard and smart, really. And then all of that will lead to this: frustration, many times. Because you're going to be persistent, and then you're going to work hard, and then you're going to get frustrated because you still don't get it. And that's when the persistence has to kick back in. You need to continue to be persistent, working hard, trying to figure this out. Sometimes you have to step away from it, but there are many, many times when you will continue this, and ultimately you will succeed at what it was that you wanted to accomplish. The interesting thing about that in software development, and in many, many, many other fields, I think, is that this is just a piece of the puzzle. Because when you get done with that and you have succeeded at something, then you get to work on something else, then do the same thing over. And I've been writing software for over 40 years, and I'm telling you that I've done this thousands and thousands of times. Come to something I don't know how to do, decide that my brain is capable of doing it, work at it, work hard, get frustrated, give it up for a day or two, go back at it, and ultimately succeed. And then that becomes part of my abilities in the software development world. So I highly recommend that you think of things in this way, at least as one possible path to success. I'm Dave Redder. I retired as a mathematics and computer science professor a few years ago. So I've been at this for a long time, and that doesn't mean that I'm good just because I've been at it for a long time, but I do have some things that I believe. I believe that anyone with a curious, logical mind can be successful in the software development field. If you want to know how to do these things, and you're willing to abide by the strict rules that come with a software development effort, and you're also willing to have an open mind about a lot of things, then you can make things happen that will be hugely valuable to you. There are a lot of different ways to do this. One way is to go to college and get a degree. That doesn't guarantee it. I've seen many people come through and not really end up doing what they thought they would do. If you have a passion in your heart to become a software developer, any of the ways that are available can be done. The college degree, an associate's degree, an on-the-job training experience where you learn this as part of a job, a self-learning environment, or using videos and books and so forth. And you can be successful and you can learn a lot about this. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that you don't have to know everything to be successful. You don't really have to know everything ever about anything. The quantity of stuff that you know is okay. I mean, the more you know, maybe the better off you are. But you don't have to know everything. People don't need to think you know everything for you to be successful. Those are my beliefs. I think anybody who really wants to do this, who finds a passion about it, is going to be fine. You just have to really work hard, and you have to work long, and you have to work smart. Some of this, as it says right there in front of you, is really hard. And some of it is not so hard, but it's all fun. And so that's where I want to go. That brings us to the end of this short video to describe what this series of videos is about. We're going to be studying how to build software using Microsoft Visual Studio, Windows Forms as the IDE, C# as the language of development, and I'll see you in the next video.